There is a myth that prevails, that a leader is supposed to be knowing everything, and he has answers for everything. The fact of the life is, a leader does not know everything, but he has a curiosity. He would like to know everything. He would like to educate himself. Look at Akbar the Great. Here is a person who spent his childhood in utter disarray. His father, Humayun, at one point in time, he had lost everything. He had lost his kingdom, he had lost his throne, he had lost his army, he had lost his friends, and to top it all, he even lost his religion. Mughal kings were Sunni Muslims, and when he had to return back to recapture the throne of Delhi, the support came to him from Shah of Persia, who are Shia Muslims. The trade-off was very simple. Convert yourself into a Shia Muslim and we'll help you. Or hand over Kohinoor diamond. Obviously, the king decided not to hand over Kohinoor diamond, so he became a Shia. So he lost his religion also. His uncles were after his life. The story is that his maid servant sat down with him. They made her sit down on the wall of Lahore fort when the cannons were firing. And the maid took the child in her lap and sat down there, his backside facing the cannons, to protect the child. This kind of a childhood king had. He never went to schools. He was barely literate. He could simply write few things. That's it. But he turned out to be the best emperor, not only of his time, but until now also. People remember the justice that he had, the affection, the equitability, the fairness that he had for his subjects, the systems that he created, the land reform that was brought in, the revenue arrangements that were put into the place, and the kingdom was the most prosperous kingdom for that matter. Or the empire, I'm sorry, I shouldn't use the word kingdom, it was an empire. How did he do that? There were 9 wise people who were given the total intellectual freedom. They were given the protection from the ire of the throne. They were made to speak out freely, frankly, give their advice, work out their own systems. And the emperor followed their advice. That's how the system functioned well. So a leader does not know everything, but he was curious. He wanted to know everything, right, starting from religion to politics to sciences to commerce to economics to everything, to geography to strategy, everything he wanted to teach himself. Ask yourself this question: do you teach yourself? I am putting some numbers here. There is, in parenthesis, you will see that number 1 is there. And I will come back to you later what are the significance of these numbers. A leader does not force his colleagues beyond their capability, but continues encouraging them to enhance the same. You don't really tell your guys that I need this blasted slab to be cast tonight, come whatever may, and walk out. And say that tomorrow morning when I come, this slab must be ready and available. A leader sits down with them and tells them how to do it, and makes sure that while it is being done, he is himself present. Look after his own comfort and benefits before those of his colleagues. Give me an honest, very honest opinion. How many of you have visited the labor camps? They are your colleagues, mind you. They are the partners in arms. How many of you have visited the place yourself and have seen the kind of conditions they are living in? I am leaving behind this question for you to answer yourself. A leader does not do that. Work with his colleagues without their consensus. To be a leader is to be a consensus builder. You have to take people along with you. You spend your entire life and go back to Almighty. You know, somebody was asking me, what is it to be a successful person? And after much thought, I came out with the answer that a successful person is the one who basically during his lifetime, he will carry his people with him. And when he dies, it is his people who carry him with them. And that is a certain index. When you go away, how many people are there to take you back to where you belong to? You have 300, you have 400, you have 1,000. They may or may not be physically present there. But they should be in a position to remember you even much, much after you have gone. That is to be a good leader. Nothing else. When people start missing you, when they say, well, he's not around, that's the first sign that you are becoming a leader. And the second sure sign comes when you see your people emulating you, when they are in a position to go back themselves and start doing the things that you are doing. Then you feel comfortable. Most of us are relatively young, but some of us have crossed our 60s and things like that. Let me ask you a question, sir. How many sons and daughters you have? 3 daughters. And what is one I think I'll...
You feel very satisfied when somebody talks about future. A, they are standing on their own feet. They are independent. 2, they are carrying forward the family values that you taught or you built. If they don't do that, you are very, very unhappy. You may not say that, but fact is you are not satisfied. The day you realize that your colleagues, the junior colleagues, are in a position to carry forward your message. It's a family. After all, we talk of traditions. The good values have to be instilled in the next generation. And if they imbibe that, I think you have really arrived. You are a leader. Work without seeking advice whenever in doubt. Many of us, we have this kind of a thing that since I have said it, therefore this has to be obeyed. No. We need to have advice whenever we are in doubt. And a good leader always seeks advice. Consensus making basically is another form of seeking advice. You are discussing with your friends, discussing with your colleagues, discussing with your family members. I think all of us, when we go back home and lie down in our bed, before or after, we definitely do discuss the things that have happened in the office with our better halves. Nothing much into it. But then, you'll be surprised, or you shouldn't be surprised really, to get the kind of wonderful suggestions or advices that come from the other person. Because he or she is not actually connected. He or she is not involved. It's a very fair, very clean, very selfless advice that comes. We do see, consciously or subconsciously or unconsciously. So a good leader never works without seeking advice. And the last one, which is extremely important here in this slide, that is, a leader does not shirk working with rolled sleeves. Unless otherwise, you have the propensity to do the things yourself. You have no business to go and ask your subordinates and juniors to really do the things. It's almost like, a car gets stuck in the mud. Whether we like it or not, we find that there somebody is helpless and they are not able to do that. The first response that comes in is, all right, let's also go and give a push. Take somebody out of the quagmire. The leader should be willing to learn every time. Life is a very kaleidoscopic situation. It has many situations which keep on changing, and no two moments present situations to you which are alike. And for every moment, there is something for you to learn. You must be willing to learn. You shouldn't close your minds. That's the whole idea. Willing to lead his people in adversity. I will give you two examples without naming the organizations, and if you rake your memory, you will come to understand who I am talking about. Way back in 1996-97, there was a great fire in Delhi. A cinema hall was burnt down and many people lost their lives. And just few months thereafter, there was another episode where a 5-star hotel got burned, and again, some lives were lost. Not, of course, as many as what had gone off in the cinema hall. Interestingly, the chairman of the companies who owned these, both of them, they happen to be on my board. They are very active members of Construction Industry Development Council, and both of them are thorough, gentle people, very decent people. But in one case, what happened? In case of the cinema hall business, the gentleman decided that the safer course for him is to basically go into hiding. So he ran away from the problem. His junior colleagues, his other directors in the company, they were arrested, put behind the bars and things like that, and the whole thing became too mucky, and ultimately even he was caught. In the second case, the leader went to the concerned authorities and said that you are not going to arrest my directors, my general managers, my stewards, or anybody. I am the owner of this whole complex which got burned down. For any lapses, I am responsible. If you have to arrest somebody, arrest me. In the second case, after investigations, they realized that it was not something that was deliberate, it was just an accident. Both of them were accidents. But the fellow came out with all the graces and as a leader, his respect got multiplied by million times. His people decided that here is the person who is head of our family, who takes care like he takes care of his own children, and therefore we are not going to go and serve anybody, come whatever way. They had been passing through turbulent phases, and they did well, and many things happened. But the